So you may remember, well, a couple of months ago now, Jacob Rees-Mogg, when he got put in as as his full title, the Brexit Opportunities and Government Efficiency Minister, a long-sounding name for, well, someone who seems to, well, do nothing. But it certainly seemed at the time that this was sort of the role was given to Mogg to at least head off some Brexiteer support, because they were very, very much grumbling about the lack of progress that had been made on Brexit. And of course, the first thing Jacob Rees-Mogg does was, rather than, actually do some of these supposed Brexit benefits, which, again, according to him, there are hundreds of thousands of things they could do. Instead, he says, let's go to the public and ask them what their grand ideas are. Because we're still expecting, I think in maybe like a couple of months' time, the big report on all this. But the Daily Express has apparently got their hands on the top 9 suggestions that have come in from the public about this. And to be honest, you can see why I think when this paper might come out, it might get, shall we say, not released to too much fanfare. So let's see what crazy, mad ideas Jacob Rees-Mogg has come up. But for someone who has spent, according to him, like most Brexiteers, their entire life campaigning to leave the EU, now they've actually achieved their aim. They don't really seem to have a lot of ideas, or at least be willing to put forward their ideas about what they want to do now. So, before we go diving into that, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and an on-affiliation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, there is the YouTube subscription button down below as well, where you get all kinds of fun bells, widgets, and who's that's that you can use here on YouTube. So, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. So, over we go to the London Economic, with the title of Rees Mogg touts scrapping EU vacuum cleaner laws as top Brexit benefit. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we left the EU, so we could scrap the evil EU regulation on vacuum cleaners. So anyway, Jacob Rees-Mogg has hailed the EU regulations on vacuum cleaners as one of the most, quote, interesting ideas it has received for how to make the most of Britain's post-Brexit freedoms. Following his appointment as Minister for Brexit Opportunities in February, Rees-Mogg launched an appeal in the Daily Express for Rees to come forward with ideas on how he could fulfill his new role. I still don't understand why he's outsourcing it. He's one of those people who, again, spent years campaigning to leave. Should you not have plenty of ideas of what you want to do now? Anyway, he was quoted saying this: the government is not the centre of all knowledge and wisdom, and actually there is much, quote, greater wisdom within the British people as a whole, Rees-Mogg said, vowing to get rid of what is in their daily life and that the government does that makes their life harder. So here are some of the interesting ideas. Get ready, because oh boy, oh boy. The government reportedly received over 2,000 ideas in response, and the top 9, quote, most interesting have now been published by the Daily Express. Second on that list of ideas, handpicked by Rees-Mogg's office, was the suggestion to, quote, abolish the EU regulation that restricted vacuum cleaner power to 1,400 watts. And I guarantee you there is a reason behind that. I just guarantee you there is a reason. Ultimately, I think it's probably to do with like energy saving, energy consumption. I'm fine with that. Why do you want a more powerful vacuum cleaner with more? I don't understand the appeal. I think vacuum cleaners, or at least the one we have here, certainly seems to do its job at the moment. So I don't understand why you would want a a, a stronger vacuum cleaner. Doesn't make sense, but I ultimately think it's probably energy saving. And of course, yes, this quote came top of the list. I'm sure it did, Jacob. Top of the list was a nudge to encourage fracking, on which the government placed a very reluctant moratorium back in 2019. So, yes, I'm sure it was top of the list. Um, Jacob Rees-Mogg himself has said several times that the government needs to engage in fracking. Um, he's part of the net zero group as well. They are very much full steam ahead for wanting to reopen the book on fracking and wanting to do that. Of course, it becomes top of the list because again, it's part of the push to again get fracking going again. Third on the list was the suggestion to remove precautionary principle restrictions, for instance, on early use of experimental treatments for seriously ill patients and GM crops. I'm sort of for it for GM crops, but not for seriously ill patients. I again, I don't see the extreme use of this. Again, I don't really see that as a massive quote Brexit benefit, and something that I think was very very much within our own remit to do when we're in the EU. Even though, of course, there was the European Medical Agency, I'm pretty sure if we wanted to, just as we could have done for example, the vaccine that we had for during the pandemic, we could have done that to release that early, as a lot of people said when we were in the EU. I'm pretty sure it was the same thing on that as well. The other suggestion include abolishing rules for the size of vans required for an operator's license and the limits on electrical power levels for electric bikes. A lot of, again, that's the same time that has happened. What's the deal with people wanting more? Yes, more power for my vacuum cleaner. Soon I will have the most powerful vacuum cleaner in all the United Kingdom. I don't get it. I really don't get any of these ideas as being good. Readers of the Express also urged the government to allow medical professionals such as pharmaceuticals and paramedics to qualify in 3 years. Uh, Again, qualifying in 3 years, I don't know. I don't know if that would, shall we say, lead to better pharmacists and paramedics, you know, but whatever. I say I don't see any of these being supreme Brexit benefits. Simplify the calculation of holiday pay. Again, I think that we could have done that when we were in the EU. Reduce requirements for businesses to conduct fixed wire testing and portable application testing. I think that's very much maybe around health and safety. That might be very much needed. And hence reducing that type of thing might be quite bad. But again, not familiar with that type of thing. I'm sure someone out there will tell me what they think on that. It comes as, of course, the expansion of the UK's manufacturing sector has slowed to a 7-month low as inflation ate into household spending and exports dropped due in part to Brexit. And according to the very influential survey, the sector struggling to keep up its growth in May. Businesses blamed the weaker growth in demand from the UK and fewer export orders, troubled supply chains, rising costs because of the war in Ukraine. And as a result, the S&P Global CMS UK Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index hit at least 54.6 in May, down from 55.8 in April. So that's it. We are expecting later on, certainly this year, a full report on this. So I suppose when that comes out, we will go over it again when that comes out. But so far, wow, that's what we left the EU for, people. More powerful vacuum cleaners and electronic bicycles. Yeah, I don't remember those being on the referendum for one. So yeah, But of course, I think it's because the Brexiteers are just completely out of ideas. Like I say, they turned complaining about the EU into a cottage industry, and now they've no longer got the EU to complain about. They've actually got to do stuff. That's partly why I think Jacob Rees-Mogg got put in there in the first place, because a lot of the Brexiteers were complaining about, well, we're not making use of our quote Brexit freedoms. But of course, if you start to remove regulations, up go more trade barriers for businesses here in the UK. Hence, why the government has been very hesitant to actually remove some of those regulations when we've already got a heck of a lot more red tape than we did before in 2016 to, again, according to the Brexiteers, leaving the EU would remove a lot of red tape. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit that like and share button on your way out. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and, of course, the one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And, of course, there's the YouTube subscription button where you're new to this channel, or there's the other button, the thank you button. You know the drill by now. And, of course, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.